Hi everybody, my name is Wanda Febriana Putri with NIM 2021030022. I come from accounting major. Here I will explain about economic inequality in Indonesia. The trend in the value of Indonesia gross domestic product continues to increase. The Central Statistic Agency and Bank Indonesia record the country GDP at a constant 2010 price of 8.16 thousand trillion in 2013. With an annual average increase 5%, the figure was 10.95 thousand trillion in 2019. This increase shows that Indonesia is increasingly prosperous economically. However, its welfare has not been able to be enjoyed by all people. Deep economic inequality still exists in this country. BBS also notes that the Gini ratio in Indonesia still fluctuates from year to year, although it tends to decrease. The number can increase at any time when Indonesia is not ready for shocks, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. This condition does not have much effect on the upper class, but is very pronounced for the lower class. This picture of rasio Gini. The following is a graph of Indonesia GDP at constant prices at 2010. The poor will get worse, while the vulnerable will easily fall into poverty. People are well aware of the economic inequality that occurs in Indonesia. So what causes economic inequality in Indonesia? According to the World Bank, the increasing economic inequality in Indonesia is not due to worsening poverty conditions, but the accelerated accumulation of wealth in the upper class. Between 2003 and 2010, the annual consumption per person of the 10% rises individual grabbed to 6%. After adjusting for inflation. But annual consumption for the 40% poor individuals only grew by less than 2%. The World Bank also mentioned four factors that deepen economic inequality in Indonesia. First, inequality of opportunity from birth. Children born to poor families tend to have a less fortunate future than those born to rich families. This is because they grow up in injustice, thereby reducing their chance of prosperity. In this condition, some inequality occurs due to factors beyond one's control. In its survey, the World Bank found two main factors that, according to society, make a person rich. Number one, because of external factors such as family background, connection, and luck. A total of 45% respondents who stated it. Number two, because of internal factors such as hard work. A total of 46% the people who stated it. Even so, there are 9% respondents who stated that a person can become rich because of corruption. Meanwhile, as many as 58% respondents considered poverty to be due to various factors. The World Bank also found 58% respondents who considered poverty to be due to various external factors. The second factor is labor market inequality. Individuals who are trapped in informal work usually have low incomes because their productivity is low. The situation prevents them from developing because they have lost to highly skilled works in the formal field. The concentration of wealth in a few people becomes the third factor. This picture shows the position and percentage of the economic condition of Indonesia and other countries. Only 1% the rich household in Indonesia is able to control 40.3% national wealth. Indonesia's position is right behind Russia and Thailand, which are still trapped in the same social inequality problem. The last factor is that the poor tend to be unprepared for economic shocks. Usually, this group will be most affected when an economic crisis occurs. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic caused a crisis in Indonesia. So many people have lost their jobs. As a result, the poor experience income deficiencies and find it difficult to invest in health and education. The World Bank recommends 3 policies that the government can take to narrow economic inequality based off public perception. The policy that is most widely supported by the community is the Social Protection Program. This program has the support of all social groups. Next is job creation. The World Bank states that the job created must be of good quality, formal in nature, with decent wages and benefits. The hope is that the vulnerable and poor will enjoy the work. They are also supported by free education, credit for micro, small, and medium enterprise, and infrastructure investment. The last and no less important policy is the eradication of corruption. Change in income levels in the last 5 years. This statement is voiced by many people with high income and education. This might indicate that the group has seen or heard of large-scale corruption more often. Not only that, even personally affected by collusion and corruption practice directly. Indonesia can also learn from Brazil in narrowing economic inequality. In a situation of wide economic inequality, it is also the duty of the government to narrow it, because everyone has the right to get and feel the same welfare. Although currently only a few groups feel it. By planning and implementing proper policy, justice and welfare are a necessity. Thanks for listening and viewing this video. Thanks for your attention. Might be useful. Bye bye.